Hello everybody in the beautiful, wonderful Tarotverse. Not only my Tarotverse, but the Tarotverse of everybody who's in my Tarotverse and has a Tarotverse that goes out from there and out from there and out from there. The center of which is, oh, who knows. I wouldn't even try to delve into the center because I know I'm way out on the fringes. Anyway, hi Tarotverse. This is Loch Mullins. I am doing a VR to... Oh my gosh, who did it? I'm sorry, it'll come to me later. Doing the storage tarot tag, and this is, let me show you here. Keep this closed with my foot. I have a cupboard. This is half of my cupboard, and then it goes over here. I'm not going to open that door. I'm having to simultaneously hold a phone flashlight and this. This is where I store a lot of my decks. So, and I'm going to show you guys something I very seldom talk about, but it's time somebody knew. Look at those decks still in plastic bags. There was a fire in our house too many years ago for any of you to understand why there's still so many in plastic bags. But most of my decks were saved, but they all came back to me in plastic bags. A lot of my boxes were gone, and which is one of the reasons I'm showing you my little shame corner there, because I have not done anything with those yet. Anyway, that's where I store a lot of my cards, and the ones that aren't stored there, some of them are stored on this shelf, and then the bottom two shelves are mostly a lot of my tarot books. And I'm just going to run across this, even though we're not talking about that. I did another video already about my tarot space, but so I'm sorry for those 2 or maybe 3 of you who saw that video. A lot of this is repeat. But then I've got some tarot shelves over here. I am not going to take you into my bedroom, where right now there are at least 20 decks. I'm not going to take you downstairs into my living room, where there are decks. I'm not going to take you, I actually keep some decks for my, okay, I have to turn off my flashlight here, I'm sorry. I keep some decks also in a cabinet in my dining room, and those decks are kept there. I'm sorry, I didn't think it was going to be so awkward trying to get my flashlight turned off, but it uses a lot of battery. I keep some in my dining room specifically for other people to use. I try to draw a line between ones that only I use and ones that I'm happy to share, so I'm not going to take you through those either. But I have decks basically all over my house. This room is where I try to keep most of them, so this is where I store my decks. The second question was, do you keep the boxes? Which is why I showed you my little shame, my little corner of shame there. I used to take all of my boxes and I would fold them flat and put them in another box, and that box I stored. I lost that box in the fire, so almost all of my decks from my first 20 years of collecting, they almost, all of those boxes are gone, just about. So I guess that's enough of an answer to there. I still have, so I'm probably the only one who keeps some in plastic bags, but that will be taken care of. I do keep, you saw up here, I keep a lot of my boxes anymore. I did not used to do that. When I first started collecting, I felt free to ditch the boxes. I still ditch some boxes. The thing is I did not realize when I first started collecting, when I first started buying tarot cards, they were like 12 bucks. You know, if I spent 14 or heaven forbid 16 on a deck of cards, that was a lot of money. So, I did not know at the time. Who could have known what was going to happen and what would happen to the prices of some of these cards? So now, you know, I try to keep the box to any deck I think will be worth something. I still don't care. This one over here, you know, I'm going to find I have more than one of these gilded decks. So, you know, if I give this one away, that would be nice. Or if I find another bag or something I like that's cooler to put this in, this box I won't keep, because this deck will be around for a while, and I have extras and stuff. I probably might even have another one that's already in the box. So, so that's kind of an answer to that. I like to keep, you know, those new boxes with the magnetic and stuff. Those are so fun. I like keeping those. So, I don't know. Does that answer the question? Do I keep my boxes? Yeah, sometimes. Not always. I was going to do the tea tag that went around, and I didn't, but I'm drinking a vanilla nut cream tea, and this is my cup, my Mermaid at Heart cup. I got it at a local bookstore. Okay, so the next question is, how do you pair your decks with bags, and what kind of bags? I pair my decks with lots of kind of bags. I make a lot of my bags. One thing I really try to do is to have my decks, and I've talked about this before in another video, because I make tarot bags just kind of for fun sometimes, and I end up with a lot of bags I can't use because they don't go with any of my decks, because I really like, see how nicely those colors work together. I really like for my deck to work with colors or to work with some other kind of flavor of the deck. This deck over here is my Arthurian Tarot, and I've done like this nice purple Celtic knot work, but the deck backs are actually very green. I've done the sides in green with a little bit of a gold shimmer, which, oh, I can't remember her name. It was not my idea. It was somebody else's idea, but I loved it and I stole it, so I'm sorry I don't remember your name. But the purple I thought worked well with the, like, the flavor of the deck. You know, it's royal. There's some purples in there. And I just thought it looked nice with the green. So, and this deck here would have been beautiful for that. Except I don't know about the sequins. I don't know that would have gone with the Arthurian Tarot, but the colors would have maybe even gone better. But this, because the deck is so opulent with the little things, I put in here and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name because, you know, everybody who says it on the internet says it differently. There's Ciro Marchetti, Ciro Marchetti. So, you know, bless this guy's heart. I think he should do a video that says, this is how you say my name. And I've never seen anything where he seems to be offended about all of us. But, yeah, so this is one of his decks, and I keep that one because his artwork is very opulent and sumptuous. And so I thought that would be a good bag for this one. This deck here stays in a box. When my daughter was little, she and David used to make me boxes for my tarot decks, which for Mother's Day I used to get one almost every year. And so the fairy, and then when you open inside the box, she put all this glitter inside the box, and it's pink and it's purple. So I have this, you can't really see the bag that it's in very well, but it's purple, and it goes to a blue and green. It looks really gray there, but it doesn't look that way in purpose. Or, I'm sorry, in person. It's a little bit brighter than it is there. But in this box, I know I should maybe have thought about a fairy deck, but this is the Whimsical Tarot, and it's just bright and happy. It's fairy tale. You can tell from the very, very first thing, the Fool is from the Wizard of Oz. So, yeah, I have a small collection of boxes. This deck here is another one that I made. It's got the Shadowscapes Tarot in it, and the colors just seem to go so well. So maybe I try to match colors first, and if not colors, then the tone. Speaking of tone, I obviously didn't make this bag, but this has the, I think this bag came from, let me see, my niece. I know, look at all this. This is terrible how my videotaping's terrible. I recruited somebody to help me do this, but we didn't get to it when he was on vacation, so now I'm having to do it like left-handed. Anyway, Chris Walder's Goddess deck is in here, and that's the back. And then if you look at this, it just, I guess it does kind of match in colors too, but also in the tone of the deck. You know, you would definitely, if you went and picked out a deck, oh, I haven't edged that yet. If you went and picked out a deck or a bag to go with this deck, I would buy that one. I would buy it. But actually, I think when my niece moved out of my brother's house, it was something she left behind, and I snagged up. Not sure, but I think. So anyway, here's the Goddess deck I put in that bag because I just think the colors just go with. Yeah, I just think those colors are just, but the best job I ever did with matching colors with yarn, this, if I just showed this to you, who wouldn't think, oh my gosh, Lion Strider Tarot? When I saw this yarn, that just screamed in my head. And again, the colors look a little bit different on the video, but they match so well. It's just, even the little bits of gray in here kind of pick up in some of these lighter blues. Just, it's probably my favorite just pairing, and how well I did of just pairing. Our local witchy shop, which isn't there anymore, used to have a guy, we all called him, some of us called him Seamstress Dave, some of us called him Aunt Dave, some of us called him the Tailor. But he used to make these beautiful bags, and so I've got several of his bags that I have different decks of cards in. That one just, it's a dragon. Any dragon deck would have looked good in there, but I thought that dragon deck especially looked good. Every once in a while you can find these things around. They're these beautiful purple bags with this foreign gold engraving on it, but I just think those are fun. And right now I have my Greenwood deck in there, which I think is probably going to change, but I haven't really decided when or how or what to do with this deck yet. This deck is kind of, it's a waiting. I have some decks in bags and they're just kind of on a waiting list. I find I don't do well if I try too hard to find something, but lots of things will just come to me. This box came from a local witchy shop. It's soapstone. I love soapstone, and I keep my Legend the Arthurian Tarot in there just because the soapstone box is gray, and there's all these beautiful, like somber purple blue artwork in there, and so that to me just, it fits really well. Okay, I'm making a mess out of these decks. Probably the last one I should talk about. Oh yeah, because there are other questions, huh? Oh my goodness. Okay, so the last one I'm going to talk about is Dave the Tailor gave me this beautiful, sumptuous, soft, gray bag, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it for a long time, but he gifted me with this one, and it was just so special. And with this last year, I finally got the Bowie deck, and so it's got all this black and white around it that gives off the gray tone. And so, when I saw that, it was just like, oh, David Bowie and Dave the Tailor, who's, I don't know if he's a big Bowie fan, but we talked about so much stuff. It just seemed very fitting to me. Okay, what decides if you put it in a bag or the original box? I think I kind of went over that and stuff. Look at a mess I just made. Oh my goodness, everything's hanging out and all messed up. What decides if I put it in a box or a bag? Well, when you get really cool boxes, they kind of have to stay in the box. When you get them in a tin, they have to stay in the tin. I love them in the tin. But sometimes, I'll be honest, because everybody's like, oh, you can just throw these in a purse or whatever. I'll take a bag and I'll throw my tins in a bag to keep my tins nice. Some of these back here, I bet, I don't know which ones, but I bet I will not have to look too far and wide. And of course I am. They're all, some of my boxes are out, even though there's no deck in them, because the deck is actually, and none of the ones that I thought I can just pick up as an example. Okay, I know for sure there's one over here, the Happy Tarot, because I trimmed this one, so it's not in there. The cool thing about having this box, though, is a silly little side note. I trimmed mine, and then I got another one from somebody else, and that box came mangled, so I'm gonna take that deck and put it in this box. But this one just calls out for a bag anyway, doesn't it? It just calls out for something. This one, this deck here, I have this in a beautiful purple bag, but the deck is really special to me, so I like seeing the box out. So that's what decides it for me. Every deck is like, I don't know. I don't know what decides it for me. I know lots of times, and I can't think of a deck right now offhand, but they'll come split in the box. Almost all of those go into bags. I don't like for, the deck to lay side by side. And I know that new one, the Mystical manga that I just got, that one came side by side. And so that one was right out. And actually that one's still out, so it's not in anything yet. Okay. Oh, and we're to the last one. Good. If you could have anything in the world, what would be your ultimate storage? I just did a thing about my little space here. I love this little space. This little space the room is 12 foot long, but at the widest part, like, see right there, there's a bookcase, so that's just not very wide at all. And look what a mess that is back there. Okay, but over here where I'm at, it's only 4 feet wide. It's a teeny tiny little room, and I love it. It's cozy. It's me. I can see so much stuff from it. But it would be really cool if, for instance, I could pull this open. Wow, yeah, this is what I want. I want to be able to pull this open and have a huge storage space back there. If I could just slide my bedrooms over there. But that's what I would like. I would like to be able to have my space right here. I'd like to be able to open this door, have that be a door. I'd like to be able to open it up, and back in there, I would like to have a temperature-controlled, humidity-controlled room that has, I couldn't even begin to tell you the dimensions I would want, because I really don't get as many cards as I used to. I probably only get like 3 or 4 new decks a year. And for those of you who've been collecting for a while, I don't know, have any of you, I got really surprised at one point at really how little space a lot of decks will take. But let's say if I could have a room that was the size of like an old schoolhouse, like one of those really old ones, with a great big, just open space. And then it would need like a library table, and it was also need, this is the Whimsical Tarot. Everything, would give me a headache watching my own video, so I thought I just would sit down and start flipping through a deck. But it would have to have a library table. It would also have to have 2 really comfy chairs right across from a comfy couch, one you could just sink into. And that would probably need to be by a fireplace. And then there should be like a little alcove where there's sort of a kitchenette, where there's an espresso machine and a way to make tea. And yeah, dream. You know what? As long as we're dreaming, it said anything, right? I would like for the walls, yeah, the walls should be made out of stone, like big labradorite walls, or maybe one wall could be labradorite and another could be amethyst, and one then would have to be like clear quartz. And that leaves me one wall. I don't know, I'll have to think about that. So that's a lot of walls. By the time you put bookcases on them, do they even show? I don't know. I'm going to have to get back to everybody on that one. You know what? I haven't showed much of this. I'm going to just go through a couple of these because I'm out of things to talk about. So, one thing, I did not do the tea tag video. I prepared for it. Cleaned up my kitchen, had somebody ready to help me, and I just ran out of time and didn't do it. There was another tag that went around. It was really fun, where you take the oracle cards and make your name out of the first letter of what an oracle card, the name of an oracle card. Does that make sense? Out of however many different decks you have, or you know, as many as to make your name. I actually did that. I sort of did it twice. I did it once for David, and I just talked to him about all of his, and I had all of mine out, and I never made the video. So the tea tag video I didn't do. I didn't do the oracle, do your name in oracle video, but it was a really nice video. And for any 2 of you who are watching this and you haven't seen it, you should go and watch those videos because they're amazing. I have some ideas for a couple of videos, and obviously I just have not gotten around to doing them, but I will shortly. I'm gonna take a look at this video and see if it's even worth putting up, or see if I have to do it all over again. But I really did want to share because I've missed out on so many. There were even a couple of older tags that I did and I never got around to editing, or couldn't edit, or needed to fix a couple of things, and they ended up just not good enough to put up. So, you know, I'm doing this stuff and I'm working on it. And if you think the quality of the things I'm actually putting up is not good, you should have seen the quality of the things I decided, maybe not. So anyway, I have talked, I have rambled. I hope I have made some sense. I have done enough jostling around to give myself a headache. I hope I have not given any of you guys a headache. And wow, that is too much talking. So I'm just going to end it here. I will put up something soon. I hope I put this one up too. And I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting me, and lots of love to you all.